Profe, disculpe por interrumpirle. Tengo una pregunta.
Dígame.
No llego a encontrar las instrucciones del assessment número 6, que es de New Systems of Trade. No encuentro las instrucciones, o sea, las preguntas que hay que responder.
Ok, en las 6. Déjame buscarla para ver si yo la tengo acá. ¿Cuál tema es ese?
New Systems of Trade. No encuentro las preguntas.
Ya, déjame decírtelas, pues el que no tiene también que apunte. Yo lo tengo aquí.
Profe, yo tengo otra pregunta. El NEO dice que nosotros tenemos hasta el 30 de este mes para
agosto, 30 de agosto, hoy es 18 apenas.
Y por eso mismo, profe, pero entonces significa que el 30 vamos a tener su examen, porque usted dijo que...
No, el ejercicio de la otra semana.
Ah, ok, ya. Es que usted en la clase pasada había dicho que usted iba a pedir los assessments al mismo tiempo.
No, por eso mismo, ese va a ser un porcentaje de todo el test.
Ah, ok, ya. Entendí.
Los assessments van a representar el 20%. Y el 100%.
Profesor, tengo una pregunta.
Un segundito, déjeme contestarle al señor Kowani. Ok, New System of Trade. Las preguntas eran la 1, A y B. La 2, A, B, C. La 3, A y B. ¿Listo, Kowani?
Ok, profe, muchas gracias.
Ok, te repito, Kowani. 1, A, B. La 2, A, B, C. La 3, A, B. Listo. Esas eran las preguntas del trade, New System of Trade. ¿Ya?
Muchas gracias.
Entonces tenemos que entregar 7 assessments.
Okay, hold on. Let me show you. Let me explain it through the document over here. Okay, let me go to your platform. You are C. Let me go to C over here. C, that's you. Let me go scroll down, come on. Oh my God. Take it to the computer shop, this laptop. Now over here I load up already a folder where you have to load up all the topics. And over here I remind you which are the topics we studied already. Okay, let me open it and let me show you. Okay, it says, the student should send the evidence of all vocabularies and assessments from the following lessons. Now, we have studied this one. We have studied all of this one. Italian Renaissance, you have to send the vocabulary and assessment. Renaissance of Beyond Italy, you have to send the vocabulary and assessment. The Reformation of Christianity, also the same thing. The Scientific Revolution, the vocabulary and the assessment questions. Great Voyages of Discovery, the same thing. New System of Trade, the vocabulary and assessment. And this, the last one that we are going to discuss today and tomorrow, Ideas of the Enlightenment. So all of them, you have to send it through me, and it's gonna be 30 points out of your test number 3. That means that the test number 3 is gonna have the value of 30 points plus this 20 that is gonna be this assignment is gonna be 20, so 50 points. So 5. Right now, remember, I'm going to evaluate the same way I did last trimester. I'm going to use this rubric. This rubric in order to evaluate your document that you were supposed to be writing it through all these classes. That's the idea. I need to make sure that you are doing your job in your house. Okay, that's the idea of, I need to make sure that you have all these vocabularies and assessment questions well organized in your notebook. Okay, so you have until, look what it says over here. Look what it says over here. What it says over here, what date says? August 30 August. Due date means that's the last day I'm gonna be receiving your documents. That's gonna be the last day. Today is 18. So you have like 2 weeks in order to prepare all your documents, and try to send it only in 2 or 3 files. Don't send me, because there are 7 documents, don't send me 7 files. Try to make it everything, try to put it in order, in 2 or 3 documents, and that's it, because it's a lot of doing for me. I have to check everybody's assessment and vocabulary. That's too tough for me, guys. Okay, so try to do it in 2 or 3 documents. Are we clear? Do you have any questions? 1, 2, 3. Okay, it means that nobody has any questions. Okay, excellent. Okay, now let's begin the class. Let's begin today's class. Okay, now we have studied different moments in the world that talks about the Christianity, about the scientific movement. What else? We have talked about the Reformation. We have talked different things, and everything has been changing since the Renaissance. Everything, and now there were a lot of some thinkers and philosophers who says they start supporting all their new thoughts or way of watching the world through another, I could say a microscope, okay? Or with another glasses, I could say, okay? So this period of time was called the Enlightenment, or also it was known as the Age of the Reason. The reason why, because they have to use your brain in order to analyze what is being happening. The Age of the Reason, a number of scholars were beginning to challenge long-held belief, muchas creencias que en aquel entonces se hacían, comenzaron a cuestionarlas, about science, religion, and government. Over here, there is an example of this. This is Mr. Scientific Alessandro Volta. He was explaining to all people how this was the first battery in the world, how it works, a new invention, the battery. Okay, now these new scholars rely on reason or logical thoughts instead of religious teaching to explain how the world worked. They believe human reason could be used to achieve 3 goals: knowledge, freedom, and happiness. And that achievement, this goal, would improve the society, okay? The use of reason in guiding people's thoughts about philosophy, society, and politics defined a time period called the Enlightenment, or the Age of the Reason, la edad de la razón. Enlightenment roots, las raíces en que se basaban, everything was supported upon Enlightenment thinker. Look back of the Greek and the Romans and the history of the Christianity, Renaissance, all the things that we have studied. Over here in the Greek and Roman philosopher, they support ideas like Aristotle. For example, thought that people could use logic to discover new truths, algo lógico. Now, the Roman philosopher Cicero believed that the reason allowed people to understand the natural laws of justice. These natural laws, he argued, should be based on law. With the Greek Roman belief, guidelines, and Enlightenment thinkers began studying the world in a new way from another perspective. Now, also in this Christianity, there was a character very important, Thomas Aquinas, thought in the Middle Ages that faith paired with reason could explain the world. And Enlightenment thinkers disagree with the church, claiming that authority and its tolerance towards non-Christian belief. Now, the Renaissance and the Reformation. Some Renaissance thinkers used Greek and Roman ideas to raise questions about established religious belief. These Renaissance thinkers were known as the humanists. Over there began the term humanist. The Renaissance humanists believed people could improve their world by studying it and changing it. These ideas contribute to Enlightenment ideas of progress and the belief of humans were capable to improve the world. And finally, the scientific revolution. Scientific revolution also influenced Enlightenment thinkers. Through experiments, scientists like Newton and Galileo had discovered that the world did not work exactly the way the church explained it. Remember, the church says that everything goes around the church or around God. Now, this new humanism, everything goes around, move around the human being. Using scientific method of study, scientific discover laws that govern the natural world. Okay, so this is the first part of the Enlightenment topic. Now, over here I have a couple of videos that is going to try to explain what we just explained here with these were like 5 or 6 slides that talks about the enlightenment. Over here, this is gonna try to explain it what enlightenment is. Okay.
My name is Paul Sargent. Welcome once again to AP Euro Bit by Bit, where I'm trying to break down modern European history into small bite-sized pieces so you can better understand it. Today's topic, the Enlightenment. What is it? Let's find out. All right, so the Enlightenment really was a time where people took the ideas and the methods of the scientific revolution and felt and tried to see if there was a way they could discover the natural laws that not only governed the universe, which had been done very successfully by guys like Newton, but which governed human society. In other words, if you take away the old accepted authorities, like Copernicus did, and like Galileo did, and like Newton did for science, and you discount the old wisdom, and you start looking at things through a new lens, questioning even the basic presumptions of an idea, then maybe you can come to a better understanding of it. So applying this to human societies meant asking the question of why are things the way they are? And so in the Enlightenment, many thinkers went through and tried to find the solution to a lot of man's problems. Their goal was ultimately to rely on human reason, rationalism, the ability of the mind to think through problems in order to try and create a better society for everybody, to try and minimize human suffering as much as possible, and to try and make the world, or at least Europe, as good as they possibly could for Europeans. So what issues did the Enlightenment address? Well, the issues of political representation, the ideals of the natural rights of man, the ideals of how to find a ruler and what limits on those rulers should be, the ideals of what religion is and what should be tolerated in terms of religion, the ideals of how to create a society that would be beneficial for everybody and what that meant in terms of who to follow. And so you have a progression of ideas. Now, so one major example of this is the encyclopedia that's edited by a guy named Denis Diderot, or Denis Diderot if you're looking into a textbook. Sometimes you might call it Diderot, but no, Diderot, he's French, all right? So the guy goes out and he says, let's put together an encyclopedia, a multi-volume work that has all of human knowledge in it with illustrations, and let's make it so that people can understand it. Diderot is not a big philosopher, but he's pulling together all of these ideas with the big assumption that if people have access to information, free access to information, although you had to pay to get a subscription to this thing, but you know what I'm talking about. If you have free access to the information, then you have the ability to question things that are going on. Why are there absolute monarchs? That doesn't make rational sense. Why should priests be the only ones who tell us how to get into heaven? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And it leads people to some very big decisions. Now, the specifics of the Enlightenment are going to focus on some major figures. Voltaire, Diderot, Rousseau, Montesquieu. And if you want to go back into perhaps the proto-Enlightenment, John Locke. But the foundation of it all, the basis of the Enlightenment, comes from Isaac Newton, who proved that a mathematical evaluation of the universe shows that the universe operates perfectly, and that in his view, God was a clockmaker who set things in motion. And he was a much better clockmaker than one that has to always play with the clock and fix it and make little adjustments here and there. He created the perfect clock that never needed his intervention. And if that's true, then as the Enlightenment thinker said, you could figure out the laws that govern human society and you could make them work. So what are the ultimate results of this? Well, they're mixed all over the place. You have some places that try to institute a sort of enlightened despotism or enlightened absolutism, where one ruler is still absolute but tries some enlightened things. You have a constitutional monarchy that exists in England and becomes more and more ruled by Parliament and less by the royal family. And the ultimate expression of the Enlightenment, perhaps with the other example of the early days of the French Revolution, but that gets a little out of hand. The United States of America comes along with perhaps the greatest summary of Enlightenment ideals in two documents. Number one, the Declaration of Independence, declaring that there are natural laws that everyone must follow, and that people have the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And number two, the U.S. Constitution, which took all of the political ideals of the Enlightenment, including religious freedom and all of this other stuff, and put them into writing and said, government has to follow this. So, in a way, our entire society in the United States comes from this one period. So that's why it's important to know. So anyway, we're going to get into some more detailed, I want to get into...
No, I don't want to go with more detail. Now let's watch this one. This is the last one. Let's stop right here, guys, because I don't have time in order to complete this video. Okay, guys. Now tomorrow we're gonna complete this topic about the Enlightenment. Do you have any questions regarding the previous thing that I started explaining, the the vocabulary and assessment that you need to start sending to me. Do you have any questions? No questions. Okay. Anyway, in case you have any question, please try to write me or send me any observation or any questions, and I'll try to help you out. Okay, guys? It's 10:14. I have no more time, so see you tomorrow, guys. Have a nice week. Hey, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.